Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm brain dead this morning. All right, there we go. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Yes? And you all
Yes,
can hear me? You all can hear me clearly? All right.
yes, I can.
All right, good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the illustration training. And I'm gonna be the trainer. Everybody knows me here. Grace, I'm sure Grace knows me. I think she's the only person I think who's new on here. But yeah, my name is Patricia, and we are going to be doing illustrations with a company called F&G, Fidelity and Guarantee. So this is the page. This is how it's gonna appear. For everyone on this training, if you have been appointed, of course, you will have this account already created. Okay, so you come on the board on the top right here where we have to log in. Okay, it'll once you click on that button to log in, three of these things will pop up. One would be the financial and insurance professional, the policy holder, that is for, if you have a policy with F&G, you'll have created an account. And if you needed to check anything with your account, log into that account, it will be this prompt that you'll have to click. And also the PRT, the group annuity certificate holder, right? But today we are doing the training on illustration. So we're going to click on here because we are the financial and insurance professionals. Once you click on there, this page is going to open, right? And you now have to log in using the credentials that you have created. So, all right, here we go. All right, once you do that, this page is going to open and it's going to look exactly like this. On the top there will be your agent number for F&G and your name. So, if this was Dr. Mputu, it will show his name here, which is, I think, Mayabu Mputu. It will be on here. And it will look like this. There's business there. And again, guys, even when we are not doing illustration on a Wednesday like this, if you have a downtime, just open up this page and just do practice, okay? Read some of these things. Just self-educate is very, very important. So you can click on here, click on agents, which Dr. Mputu does every Monday anyway for onboarding, but it's always good. Sometimes the time is not enough for us to learn everything, right? But when you have a downtime, just open up this computer, open up, on F&G and just click on these things, just anything. Look, just click there and say, oh, wow, forms and materials, what are these? Then you click on the forms and materials. Oh, online application. What does that mean? When you're putting in a policy for a client, you just open it up. You don't have to have a client, just for you yourself to educate, yourself. So get familiarized with the back office, what it looks like, what is it, what they're offering, what we need to learn, and stuff like that. So anyways, so for today, we're going to go on here, which is Sales Tools. When we click on Sales Tools, we have the content library. We have the fixed index annuities calculator. We have the illustrations, suitability, and the webcast center. But we are doing illustrations, so this is where we're going to click. And also, I'd like to mention that majority of these tabs over here work similarly, the same on the bottom here. Like if you go on the sales tools, just like I did on the top, it has the same kind of content in it, right? So you can choose here as well, top or bottom, it doesn't matter. You can click there, and once you click on there, this software is going to open up. All right. So F&G, they do annuities and also life, right? So depending on the business that you're writing, are you writing an annuity for a client today, or are you doing a life, policy for this client? So we're going to go on here because this is what we are doing. Okay. So make sure that you're choosing the right software. You don't click on here, and then trying to do or trying to illustrate for a life policy. Okay, very, very important. So F&G life illustrations, this is where we're gonna go. We click on there and that page is gonna open for us. And this is exactly how it's going to appear. It's gonna look like that. And also, guys, if you have a computer or if you're on your phone and you have a computer, sometimes it's always good to practice while, I'm doing this. You just log in and then just follow as I am training, because that way it's like hands-on. Sometimes people learn quicker that way. I just thought I would throw that out. But okay, so 2 tabs is gonna open. The new case, start a new case, and the other one says view my cases. So because we are starting a new case, we are not viewing the one that we already did yesterday or last week or last month to view whatever you want to view. We are gonna click on the first one here that says start a new case. So we go on there, we click, and this page is gonna open for us. That's the live illustrations, and this is a new case. So this now we have to put the case information, meaning the client's information is going to be entered on this page, okay? So it's very important, guys, to make sure that when you are doing this with the client is present. Don't do the illustration and just send the client and say, oh, because I know sometimes clients will be like, oh, I don't need to do the illustration. I don't need to be present. Just run it, just run the numbers and then just send it to me. It's very important to educate, because this is where now we are going to demonstrate all those benefits in the presentation that I did yesterday. You're going to show the numbers, you can show the benefits, how this account, the money can compound for you, how this account you don't have to pay taxes, how you can get loans from your own policy, how this policy. So all that demonstration happens when you are designing a illustration. It's very, very important, because we had a meeting a couple of days ago for EDs, and we were told that there've been a whole lot of, which I'm going to, I think, have a meeting on there just to educate everyone, right? A lot of mistakes where agents are doing illustrations and signing applications on behalf of a client without the client being there, without authorization. Why? Because sometimes we think, oh, we know the person, right? So it's okay, just sign it. And then you sign it. And they have caught a couple of people who they have confiscated their license and they can never practice again. And they were taken out of Experian. So we have to practice good business. Don't take it lightly. I know sometimes we are doing it for somebody that we know, a friend, who's in Chicago and says, oh yeah, just run the numbers, do the illustration, just send it to me, get us, a picture of it. Oh yeah, it's good. How much am I paying every month? $350. Oh, that's good. Go ahead and I'll give you, this is my bank information. And, and some of these things, I'm not, sorry about that. Excuse me. Yeah, we have done this simple mistake. Sometimes we think it's not a big deal. It's a big deal in the insurance business, and Experian is actually looking into this very, very carefully. So it's very important, and this is where it starts, okay? So you start here. Of course, first you do the presentation with the client. Then when the client says, okay, they want this policy and everything, you do the expert financial analysis. You do that, make sure that when you're designing here, the client is able to pay for that policy. That's another red flag that was mentioned in that meeting, is that when they look at the NBT and they look at the amount of what the client and the client or the customer, whatever you might call it, they earn less money, but when you look at the policy, it's way too high. You cannot do that. So please, 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 let's do what is right to protect our business to protect our certification, because we don't want to be wiped out and said, look, we have caught you, you have been signing on behalf of clients, and then you are putting wrong information in the application, okay? They have people that go back here to check those things. And apparently, it's something that I never even thought about. You know how we just say, oh, we're doing right, they go back and check thoroughly. And people have been really, really noticed, and they're not here today. So I just want to mention to you that very, very important, okay? All right, I'll move on. So for illustration purposes, we're just gonna put here, I always use Jen Brown. Jen Brown knows that I use this name all the time. Okay, so this is me now, just putting this, right? So if this is a client, Jen Brown is not going to be the name. You have to put the name of your client. If your client's name is James, James Brown, then that's what you put, James Brown. You don't put your information here, okay? And then, of course, the date of birth for illustrations, they always tell us, illustrate for a 32-year-old. So I'm just going to put the date here. It doesn't have to, it can be anything for as long as the age, comes or calculates to 32. So, right? And I'm going to go ahead here and put that. On the case description, this is where now you have to put the amount of the first amount of the policy, right? But we're not going to change here because we're not going to put anything here. When you indicate here and you go back to the illustration where you have to adjust and you forget to come and change it here on this page, sometimes it can really, mess up or give you just numbers that don't make sense. So we just leave this here blank, okay? And then we go to career and product. Career and product, this is where now you have to indicate which state your client is. All right. If you click on this tab, it will drop down, sorry. It will drop down all these states. Okay. Now we can choose. Where's Jane? Is Jane in North Carolina or Jane is in Oklahoma? If it's Oklahoma, that's what we click. Very, very important. Do not put here the client is the client is in Oklahoma, because that's where you are, and the client is not even in Oklahoma, is in Florida. So those mistakes have also been, reported. So very, very carefully there. And the product type, when you click on it, it's going to select the Index Universal Life, because this is what we're doing here, right? So we click Index Universal Life, and then we have to find the product. What are the available products? When you click on that available product, this is going to drop down here, right? This prompts will open up. They're different products, guys. But for this IUL that we are selling, right, that we are designing for our client, this is the preferred one. This is what we have been told. This is the best available product, and that's the FG Path Setter. So we click on there, select, and then now it's going to open up a second page. All right. It's taking a little bit long. Okay. This page now is where, first of all, we're going to have to check the client information. Remember the one that you entered? Make sure that everything is correct on here. And if you have the client present with you, make sure that, the client can see that as well, to make sure that it's done correctly. Or if they're on Zoom, make sure that, can we just look there? Did I enter everything correctly? The date of birth is correct? Yes. Okay, fine. Let's move on. The underwriting class here, where it says standard non-tobacco. This is where now, this is the underwriter's responsibility over here. They will determine which underwriting class they will have or pick for the client, depending on the client's medical information, okay? So when you click on there, if you just wanted to see, it will come down there where it will say preferred non-tobacco. Sometimes people will say, oh, well, when I was doing the illustration, I picked preferred tobacco, but now it's, I picked the standard, I let it be on standard non-tobacco, I didn't change anything. But now the client's policy has been approved, and now I see it's preferred tobacco. Yeah, don't worry about it. That is, the underwriter doing the due diligence after looking and seeing and analyzing what is that information for the client, they will be able to pick here. Okay. So usually people just leave it like that. If I'm doing it, I just leave it on, standard non-tobacco. I don't do anything. I let the underwriter do their thing. So the underwriting guidelines, every company is different with the guidelines that, they go for on each applicant. So if, say for instance, I'll give an example of the weight, right? The weight can be something that can be of an advantage or disadvantage in some cases. What do I mean by that? If a client is weighing way less than what they're supposed to weigh for their age and their height, it can be a red flag where they can say, no, you're too small, you're too thin, or you're too big. You are above the pounds, the weight that, you can qualify according to the guidelines for what? For this company. So if you wanted to check on that, this is where you can click. It will open up there for you. And once it opens up, then you can just click on just browse there until you get to the contents. And you can see whatever you want to look at. If you, over there, you want to look at the cover letters or you want to look at the blood pressure limits, what numbers are they looking at that is, what they accept, what is acceptable, you can check on there. If you want to look at the tobacco guidelines, what do they mean by that? What about the cholesterol limits? Because sometimes we have a client that says, oh, I have high cholesterol. But then what are your numbers? The client might disclose to you and say, oh, the last time I went to the doctor, this is the number. And then you say, okay, let's just make sure that that is within the given limits, right? So that we can eliminate sometimes, a denial or something like that. So you go here. So like I'm saying, this, we cannot go through all this on the training for, because of time consuming, right? But if you at home or you have time, just look into these things. Just click on it and look and self-educate, so that you are aware of what they mean or what the guidelines are. Oh God, where am I? All right. So that's that. So let's go to solve. Solve, you have on this page, you can see it says run quick solve and, solving for, it says none. But then when you click on here, it also gives you different ways that you can solve for this illustration. So you will see that as we proceed with this, doing different designs on this illustration, we'll come back here and maybe pick income stream or maybe max accumulation or whatever it is, right? It's on here. And also, depending, everybody, this is just for training. So your client, once you sit with them, they will tell you exactly how they want this policy to run. They'll tell you, oh, I want to contribute to this policy at the, up to the age of 60 or maybe up to the age of 65. From there, I want to start the distribution. And also, the distribution, I want to maybe get even 10,000. So with that, said, then you can come here and design using, some of these prompts over here. Okay, so every client would be different. That's why it's important to sit down and ask the client, like, what is it that you want? Is it the cash accumulation? Do you just want to grow your money on this? Or do you want, also the living benefits? When do you want to start getting the money? How much do you want to go? Stuff like that. It really helps. And they've tailored all these things for us to just pick what really, the client wants. And it's very, very helpful. We don't have to, make up something or, improvise or anything like that. So for now, we're just going to leave it on solve. Okay, we'll leave it on solve. And then now we come to first amount. All right, we've done the EFA with the client. The client has told us, you know what? Let me start with a policy for whatever, 500 or 200. But for training, we just leave it at 1 million, guys. 1 million, okay? So we move on to the death benefit option. There are 3 options. When you click on here, it will tell you exactly because it will show what options they have. Option A, option B, and then also option B to A, all right? So like I was saying, this is also tailored for every unique client. For right now, we're gonna leave it on graded. Is it graded for increasing, sorry. Increasing on B. I mean on sorry, I'm getting confused. A on level, right? Level is A. Thank you. I got sidetracked. So A is level and B is increasing. Am I right there, guys? So we're gonna choose the increasing, not the level. Okay, we want it to be growing, increasing every year. And I'll show you the difference. When we do level, it just stays level, it doesn't change. All right. So let's go to the bottom here and look at the premiums. Very, very important to choose or to ask the client, how do you want to, contribute to, your premiums? What is the method that you want to use? Do you want to do monthly? Okay, do you want to do, and when you click on here, it'll open for you. It'll show you, 4 different options of how you can pay your, the client can pay the premium. Annual, which is every year, semi-annual, right? Quarterly and monthly. So the client might say, well, I want to do the annual one, okay? So then at that point, you go to annual, right? But for right now, we're just gonna do the monthly, okay? And then we move on to the premium type. Premium type, when you click on there, it shows you exactly what types they have. Okay, they have the premium, target premium. They have specified level premium. They have specified varied premium and minimum. And this also types of premium, we are going to play around a little bit with it as we proceed, because we're going to come here and change a few things when we do a different design of a policy. So for right now, we're just going to leave it on target, right? And then pay premium 2. When you click on this blue thing here that says I, just so you know what they're talking about, okay? To get clarity, it'll show you, it says to indicate an age, okay? Type A and the age, an example, they'll give you A65. So, and then to indicate policy year, it says type Y, and they give you an example. So meaning here, this is year, what? Year 100. If it was age, it would be A. So meaning we'll leave it as this as default. Sometimes you can change it to 65. Sometimes the client will say, well, I want to just contribute up to the age of 65. You can come here and change it. But however, even if you left it like this, it will still at 65, you can see what it is. Usually I just leave it, by default, whatever is on here. And of course, the forced minimum premiums to year 15, meaning the guidelines and everything where it tells you you cannot go over a certain amount in that 15 years. And of course, the lump sum, if the client has extra, money that they want to fund the policy, maybe they had money in their account and they say, okay, you know what, I had 10,000 or I have 5,000 in an account. Can I put this money in this account? Yes, you can. It'll be here where you'll have to indicate it. Okay. So now this is very important. Let's go to the interesting crediting options. What are these? These are the investment options, meaning the segments. This is how your money is going to grow, right? Using these indexes. By default, they've already indicated or selected the ones that they recommend that is the best, okay? So you don't have to change anything here if you wish not to, right? Because these indexes anyway can also be changed later on once you educate the client, or sometimes you have a client that they are very kind of aware. They understand, the indexes and all this kind of stuff. Or maybe even for you yourself as an agent, right? After 1 year of this policy, when now it goes to the maturity year to go to the second year, it's very important for us agents to sit down with our clients to look at how this account is performing. So why I'm saying this is that at that time, if you now, because you're the educator, right? You are the agent, and you realize that when you did this policy, you only left 50-50 for Morgan and BlackRock. But now You have learned that this market, this segment for Morgan Stanley US equity, is doing so well. And now you say, okay, I'm going to diversify for this client. You can come, you can always get your client to log in and then change that. Or even for you yourself, if you have an account, you can always, change this. It's very flexible. Okay. But we're going to leave it like this. And if you said, well, what if I wanted to diversify and just make sure that whichever segment is doing so well, I'm still getting a little bit of money here and I'm balancing off everything. All right. This is what you're going to do it. You're going to put the first one there. You're going to do it on 33%. You're going to do the second one on 34%. And you're going to do the third one. And all these segments have to equal to 100, guys. Okay? It's going to equal to 100. So this is how you're going to do it. If you don't want to do this, if you think this is like, you know what, I'm just going to go by their recommendation, where it says 50-50, still okay. All right. But if you want it to be a little bit diverse, don't do anything different other than this. And if you want to get a picture of that, you can. If you're writing a policy for a client and you say, well, Patricia mentioned something about diversifying. What numbers did she put? What was the percentage? Which one was it? So just take a picture of that so that next time you're doing that, you don't have to call anyone. You already have it for yourself. I don't know why that is on there. So anyway, so that is all that we put on here, guys. This is all we put on here. All right. And then after that, now we will okay, the output options, okay, it already tells you by default, it comes with the living benefits and the supplemental report, okay? We don't do anything here. We just leave it as it is. And then now to calculate, and also here, sorry, I have to mention it even if I don't change anything, right? Loans and withdrawals. This is where now it will have to indicate, when you click on there, how are you going to, how are you scheduling this? Are you getting a loan, and what is the percentage, maybe the interest rate and stuff like that. And also the mode, is it monthly? Is going to be, but of course, we are not doing that this time, right? So we're just going to leave it alone. We're not going to touch that. We just indicate or fill in the information that is required. Here is a button on the top right that says calculate results. Okay, you click on the calculate results and it'll calculate for us. How is this policy going to look like? It will tell us exactly what the summary is going to be. You can see here on the top, it says policy summary, and it has the premium summary. Policy summary meaning it has the year, age, annual, if you needed to get access any cash, how do you want to access it? Are you using a loan? Are you using withdrawal option? Also, cash account value, surrender value, death benefit. Very, very important to let the client know. It says, look, with the IUL, the premium never changes. It doesn't matter 5 years, 10 years later, you started at 33. When you turn 50, it's still going to be the same. It will never change. So you show them. You can see here, Miss Jane, from year 1, this account will run all the way up to the end of what? 120 years. The amount, you see the amount is the same, 7,480. This is annual premium, meaning that payment that you're making every month equals to that every year. Okay? So you indicate, and this is, where the column is going to show if you get any loan or any withdrawals. Account value is the value of your account the very first year. And then the surrender value, this is now that interest that you're going to, be earning is going to show on here how much, money have you earned, okay? It's going to show on here. This is where now, remember when we were talking, you can tell them we were talking about that compound interest. This is where it happens that when the money compounds, it'll be under, indicate under this column. And the death benefit, which is 1 million. And then you can now say, before you actually even go to start explaining this, you go back here and say, here is very important. I want you to look at the premium summary. You said 1 million, but this is how it's broken down for you. All right, so the payment every year is 7,480. The target premium is the same as the, analyzed premium, which is 7,480. And then, of course, the motor premium this is how much you're going to be contributing every month. Are you comfortable with this? It's very important, right? We have to make sure that this policy stays active and never lapses because this is too heavy for a client or too much for a client. Sometimes people would say, let's do $1 million and we can adjust accordingly. So you have to make sure, can we continue with this? Are these numbers comfortable for you? If they say yes, it's comfortable, I'm good, then you go with that. But this is where you're going to show them the minimum premium, that you're going to pay, which is, half of your premiums, your target premium every year. If you wanted to pay it in 2 installments or however, the guideline as well, it will tell you that's 175,000. These are the guidelines that you cannot go up, above what is given. The level as well, you're gonna let them know that this is the amount that you can pay within a whatever period of time. If it's in the first year or whatever, you can, if you want it to maintain the same, the same amount over here to that, right? And then the guideline, sorry, the 7-pay is also very important, all right? That you have to mention that, look, this account is actually the IRS has given us or gives you this maximized amount that you can put in this account to grow your money. Some people say, but I have Roth IRA, and I have the same, I can put more money, I can maxi fund my account. Yes, IRA also has the same kind of a component here, right, to maxi fund, but how much money are you allowed to put in an IRA account? It's way less than this. So this is so much of an advantage. That's a great benefit that you can grow your money really quickly, for your retirement or for whatever you want to use your money for. For student, for college student, if you have a child that wants to go to college in the next 10 years, use this, opportunity that you can put for you, 54,000, since your first amount is 1 million, you can put up to 54,000. IRS allows you to do that. You can't put more than 54 because it has guidelines, right? So, very, very important for you to mention. Now, is there anybody that has a question before I can go further? No questions.
I have a question, but it's not. I think I got 2 phones open, so echo. Do we have illustrations on FNG by? I mean, inside of FNG, do we have any recorded illustrations in their website somewhere?
Yeah, we should. I think Dr. Mputu should be able to answer that. But I think when you go to learn, there are some recordings that, for illustrations, you're saying just to kind of like,
Yeah, I've seen the one by us by Xperia, but I haven't seen any. I think because one person mentioned yesterday, Nello from Atlanta. She shows us that we do have recorded illustrations for annuity inside of FNG website. So my question was, if we do have a same thing for life insurance as you are showing here, that was recorded only by them. Just asking questions.
yeah, they should have it. I think they do have it. They have, I think, on annuities, and they also have on life. They have it recorded. Well, I think when you go to learn, maybe when we have time, when we finish this, we can go there to access it.
Yes, sorry, just quickly. Yes, we have, when you go to learn, you go about Xperia, you click on trainings, you'll see all the pre-recorded videos are there.
Okay.
So the one for FNG It's by Blake.
Can you just hold on, guys? I have somebody at the door. It's just me at the office here. Just one moment, please. And you can go ahead, Dr. Mputu, and explain.
Okay, so what I was trying to say is, if you go to, because I don't have, I cannot share. You go to your FNG, I mean to your Xperia website, then you click on Learn. You go on the far left, you'll see about Xperia. Then you go to Training, or you go to US Product, pre-recorded videos. You'll see all the trainings there. It's 2025, 2024. I think it's since 2021. And you see a lot of companies there, including FNG. And the ones that is for FNG is done by Blake.
Yeah, I think you probably guys misunderstand my question. Well, I'm aware about what you just presented, what you just shared with us. My question was inside of FNG website, not anything external. So by going to FNG illustration, do we have anything inside of FNG website? Those were recorded and put on the Xperia, and I'm aware about those, and now I've visited those.
Can I say something about this?
Yes.
So this is Monique. Actually, I think I saw a training on the live before, like when I first started. It was a training on FNG for illustration. But I think they did some update on the website. I'm not able to see that training anymore, but I'm able to see the annuity training for FNG there. So probably they'll put it back, or we can ask Blake where we can find it. But it used to be one there.
Okay. And they should, maybe they've changed, like you were saying, they've changed a few things around, but it should be there accessible for agents to learn, you know, and practice and all that.
Products of Thursday training, United States edition.
Okay. All right. So, all right, can we move on? So now here, let's go here now and talk to the client. So Miss Jane, that's the first year, right? And on here, you cannot see the calculations like the second year, how much the client has contributed. For some reason, it only shows the account value. But if you wondered and you wanted to find out how it's calculated, you have to just calculate, you know, the 7,480 annual premium times that year. Okay, if this client has contributed for 3 years, you do 3 times 7,480, it's going to show you exactly how much the client has contributed. However, here it just shows you the account value, that for the first year, the account value is 4,666. You cannot withdraw or get a loan the first year in this account. As you can see, it shows 0. But you have to let the client know this is a great benefit, that we have accelerated death benefit, meaning when we got that policy for you for 1 million, look, at the end of 1 year, the death benefit is now more than 1 million, meaning it's what? It's compounding for you as well, right? So it's now 1,004,666. So I want you to look at this. Let's look at year number 5. You can just jump here. You don't have to go every year, but you can do the second year. It says the first year you can't take any money, but the second year you can take money, right? The value now is going up, right? It's going up. It's not the same anymore. This is, this is now that compounding that we're talking about. So 9,661 is the value, but look how much money you can take out the second year. All right. And you can even ask the client and say, can you imagine, if you had any kind of money in the account, such as this, would you really earn this kind of interest? No. So these are the great benefits of that this account, grows, your money is growing using that compounding strategy. So the 5th year, you can, indicate as well, same concept. This is how much money you can take out, and look at the death benefit as well. All right. The premium remains the same, but your money is growing, right? Let's look at year 15. How much money is it? How much is the value? You can see the value is 126,842, but you can get it, that 126 out of this account. And then the client can ask you, okay, so how can I get this money? If I want this money now, can I get it now? And how can I get it? Can I just say, call the company and withdraw it? As an agent, you're going to say, yes, you can. You have two options. You can get the money as a withdrawal, right? You can get the money as a withdrawal, or you can also get money as a loan. But, my recommendation to you as an agent is that you have to get that money using a loan kind of mode. Don't get it as a withdrawal, because when you get it as a loan, guess what? This money will continue compounding. Look, you can take that 126,000, but when you look at the year after you take all that money out, right? By getting a loan, that money is still growing. See what I'm saying? The money is still compounding for you. But when you take that money out and withdraw it, guess what? You won't have anything left here, meaning that compounding factor will start from that zero now going down. So meaning, how long is it going to take for your money? So the smart thing to do is for you to get a loan so that this money can continue growing for you. And that loan, FNG, and then you can also mention this is a tax-free account, meaning you are not paying taxation whatsoever, but you will have to pay the interest rate, which is about 5%, paying back to yourself. Do you really need to do that? And then the client will say, well, do I really need to do that? What about if I say I'm not going to pay it? Fine. If you don't want to pay it, that's okay too. You don't have to pay it. But you have to remember or bear in mind that if something happens to you, if you pass on and you took that 110,000 and you never paid back, they're going to have to deduct from the death benefit before they can, they can give the proceedings to the beneficiaries. So you have to explain that. It's very important for a client. You don't want to leave this valid information and then they say, well, but you never explained to me when we were doing an illustration that this account can do this and that. So this is the reason why we do this training, to make sure that all these benefits, we are explaining them to our client so they know how to use this policy for them or this account for them. Okay. So now we're going to go and say, okay, let's assume you are retiring at the age of 65. All right. That is, now you've contributed for what? Year 33. Now you're retiring. And look at the amount. The premium is still the same, just like I told you, right? But look how much the value is for that account right now. At the time when you're going to be retiring, 662, and that's how much money now you're retiring with. And this is where you say, how many people in our community have a plan as this, where they are retiring with this kind of money? This is the reason why you can use this account to secure your future. And this is what we mean. That is a great benefit where you can have this money for yourself, retire, and you can now use this money or get the distributions. And we're going to do the second design where now we can say, okay, at the age of 65, you have 662. Now you want to start distributing. You want to start getting money out of this, because now you don't have active money. You have, this is a FIN, the FIN number that we explained in the presentation. This is where now it really makes sense, because now this money, you save this money for the future. There's no active money. You have retired. This money should be able to continue giving you that lifestyle without working. Now you have retired. Okay. And also you can show this, look at that death benefit. Now it's not 1 million anymore. So if you passed on, Miss Jane, 1.6 million will be given to the beneficiary, tax free. Okay. So those are the great benefits that you have to mention. Also, another great benefit that you have to illustrate here is the living benefits. Remember, we talk about critical illness and chronic illness, because that is what has been affecting our community for so many years and for a long time, and is still happening. This is where now you can say, look, if you had this account and you were, diagnosed with a critical illness, this is how this account would be payable to you. So you go back and you say, okay, it was a 1 million, right? This is 1 million that we, well, maybe I should go here. No, this doesn't even show, sorry, 1 million face amount. So you get diagnosed with cancer. F&G pays up to 100%. But it depends on what kind of cancer do you have. Is it stage 1? Is it stage 2? Is it stage 3? Is it stage 4? If it's stage 4, definitely you're going to get 100%. If it's stage 2, you might get maybe 80%, maybe 70%. That determination is made between what the company, the financial company is the one that F&G will make that determination depending on the results from the doctor. Then they'll say, okay, so you have to make sure, because some people will say, well, you didn't tell me how come I'm only getting, 600,000. You told me, when we're getting this IUL that I can get up to 100. So 100 meaning 1 million. So you have to indicate these things happen. Okay, these things happen and you'll be questionable. I mean, you'll be answerable to this question, because they're gonna say, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and now, they only gave me, 750. But you told me that this company is, it will give me up to 100%. I'm suing you, or I'm suing the company. No. So tell the truth. Be transparent when you're explaining these things. Overall, it's a great policy to have, because you plan for the unforeseen. Something happens. This is what happens on here, right? And that's exactly, I'm telling you, this is real, because some people don't believe that when they get sick, really they will be given up to this amount. It's absolutely real, because it happened to one of us, one of the agents on here who has this policy, and she was diagnosed with cancer. Guess what? It wasn't this company, it was a different company, same IUL, same concept, and now that money was given to her. So that's why we encourage even us as agents who are on here, if you don't have a policy, please get yourself one, because nobody knows about the unforeseen situation or circumstances. It can happen to anybody. What if this was you? What would happen? Then some people would say, well, we have agents here who would say, well, I can't qualify for this, because not everybody qualifies, guys. You know that, right? If you don't qualify, we have other alternatives. If you have children, open accounts for those children and use that, because you're going to be the payer anyway. You're going to be the owner of that policy. Even the insured is your child. You can still fund this policy and use this money for yourself. Okay? So just because you don't qualify doesn't mean now you can't do anything about it. You can do something about it, because you can get even through your spouse. If you have a spouse, if you can't qualify, maybe your spouse can qualify. Use that account and supercharge. Put more money in these accounts this money will be there for you for tomorrow, for emergencies, for critical illness, if you're not. And also, I've seen us as agents, now I'm diving into just not the client, but also educating ourselves, educating us. If you have this policy, you have maybe underlined, medical illness, they still give it to you at a high table or whatever table, but they have approved you. Please don't be discouraged, because some people say, I don't even need it. Cancel it. I'm not going to get it. They don't want to give me living benefits. What's the point? There's a lot of points how you can use this account. Supercharge it. You see the IRS, they give you that maximized amount of money. That's a lot of money you can put on there. Work, do whatever you can. Your bonuses, your overtime money, your gift cards, whatever it is, somebody's gifting you money, birthday money, whatever it is, MaxiFund, put it in here. Why? Because this money is protected. This money is gonna grow using that strategy of a compound interest. Guys, please, because I had a client who said, no, just cancel it. I don't even want this policy anymore. So I had to sit down and now pull up this illustration and show them if they had to maxi fund this account, even 10,000 every month, 10,000, I had to do that scenario. And they were like, oh my God, oh yeah, I want it. You see what I'm saying? So if you have a client that says, oh, I'm discouraged because now I have a high table and I don't have living benefits, I don't want this. And no, you can use this for various reasons. For various reasons. Okay. So that is that. Before we go anywhere, I would like to get a question. Justina, you had your hand raised.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Patricia. Thank you for this opportunity and thank you so much for the training. It's just a quick verification. You mentioned about the benefits, about the critical illness, for instance, about cancer. Because I asked one time, I said, what is the coverage? Like, how much are you covered? And then I was told like up to 100%. But now that you mentioned, it kind of clicked me a little bit. So is it like a stages that it has to cover? It's not 100% for sure?
Well,
It's
it
just a
depends.
little clarification about the training. I know we're all here to learn, you know.
Right, right. And like I explained, it depends on the severity of the illness. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Heart attack. People have a heart attack. Some people die. Some people don't die, right? Some people just had maybe a little scare, right? It's not so severe, but they did have a heart attack. So there is a level of that, okay, depending on how the doctor indicates it on the diagnosis. So the insurance company, they will look at that and say, okay, this person didn't have like a severe heart attack where they have, open heart surgery where they can get 100%. See what I'm saying? You know the story of Scott. The story of Scott. Scott had a heart attack. He was there in the hospital. They did an EKG. They found out that he had one. But guess what? He didn't die from it. He survived. Even though the diagnosis still remains the same, right? He had a heart attack. But did Scott die? No, he didn't. He just, continued his life, but by doing what? Adjusting to his lifestyle, eating well, taking whatever medication, and exercising, and life goes on. Scott is still living today. That incident happened what? Maybe 5, 7, 10 years ago. So are they gonna give you 100% at that time? No, they're not going to give you 100%. Every company is different, but this is what it says, and I know Transamerica works the same way. Okay? Transamerica works the same way, but so is F&G. They will not give you 100% if you just had, a minor heart attack, if there is such a thing, but it wasn't like a major, or like if you're diagnosed with cancer, you don't have like, cancer where they say stage 4. That's, you know what I'm talking about? That's really, really like bad out there, And of course, I didn't mention about the terminal. Terminal, they'll give you 100%. Meaning, you have that, prognosis from the doctor saying you can live only 12 months and under. At that time, they will give you, that's a guaranteed of 100%. But if it's a critical illness, it depends on the severity of the illness. They will determine what percentage to give you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very clear. Thank you so much for the clarification.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Welcome. Guys, before we go on to something else, and let me show this. Before we go on to something else, is there another question? I'd like to show you this, where you click on the review and e-sign, because it gives you a better breakdown than just the summaries. Remember when I was explaining about how much money the client will have contributed in 2 years, 5 years? It doesn't show there, it only shows the value. But when you come here on the tabular, I think it is tabular, it will show you exactly the breakdown. Okay, hold on. Where is the tabular? Right here, I think, yes. So here, it shows you the guaranteed assumptions, the non-guaranteed assumptions, and the current, the non-guaranteed assumptions to current interest. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. On F&G, right, with those indexes that we chose, this is the non-guarantee that we'll have to go to. So we are focusing on the third column here. But on the planned premium outlay, I want you to see that this calculates for you every 10 years. it will give you the total amount of how much premium Miss Jane paid. So in 10 years, Miss Jane paid how much? 74,000. Okay? The value is 63. This is how much money they can take out, right? And then, of course, the accelerated death benefit is there. It indicates for you. And then you can see in 20 years, Miss Jane contributed 149. Look at how much the value is, and look how much they can take out, right? So you can come here and show the client to say, I want you to see exactly how this is working. And then you can go down there. It goes all the way, right? And you can look at the 1 million. Very, very important. You say, look, at the year, at age 71, this is how much money you will have contributed. I mean, at 72, right? 299. But look how much money you can get out of this account. Look how much your death benefit is. This to me is everything. See, guys, when that person now is 71, which we're all going to get there, where we are, we're praying that we all get there and above, at 71, look how much money you've contributed, 299 only. Look how much money you have. 1.1 million, and this is just based on the non-guaranteed 6%. Remember those segments we chose there, open caps, meaning, no cap. It can go all the way up to even 20, meaning these numbers are going to be way more than what you see over here. And not only that, you're going to tell Miss Jane, this is just based on the regular, premiums that you were making. You're not maxi funding this account. Imagine if you were maxi funding, putting more money than just your premiums, these numbers here will be triple. So this is how you encourage, when it comes to like, when they look at this, it says you can be a millionaire even way before, even at 50 years old of age. You starting at 31, at 50, you can be a millionaire. Even at 45, you can be, it depends on how you are funding the policy. But this is just based on the regular, a monthly payment or yearly contributions that you are making. This is how much money you will have. And then you can go on and on and look at 82 years of age, you'll have contributed 373, which means, anyway, let's just be realistic. Nobody at 81 is still going to continue paying, yeah, for the most part. People will contribute up to the age maybe of 67. After that, you have to design it where now the distribution kicks in. But we're just, here trying to understand how this account works. At 82 years of age, this is how much money you'll have contributed, 373, but you have 2 million. So if Miss Jane passed on and she never used any of this money, and this is the money that will be passed on to the beneficiary. But not only that, let's take it back. I also want to let you know that you can tell Miss Jane or the client and say, look, at the age of 70, right? At the age of 70, when all that stuff starts going wrong, chronic illness, you start having Parkinson, dementia, and all that, not even at age 70. Age 70 is young anyway. Let's just look at maybe age 75 to age 80. How much money that you have on here that you can use, okay? But chronic illness is also a rider that you would be paid depending can you not do those two activities of daily living out of those 6? If you cannot perform those 2, guess what? Money will come to you as well. But not only that, even if you don't have those chronic illnesses and everything, look how much money you have that you can be using for yourself, for your self-care, for your health care. You have enough money to take care of you. You're not depending on family. You're not depending on friends, to contribute some money and everything like that. Does anybody have a question with that? This is just the table I wanted to show you, other than just doing the summary there. Always come here to review because I think it gives you a better breakdown. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to, since you are here on this table, I just wanted to mention something.
Yes, sir.
Because we got a lot of complaints even from the agent. Yeah. So it's regarding something else here. It's about the charges.
Okay.
If you see on year on the first year, the contribution, yeah, you
Uh-huh.
are there. Contribution is 7.4,
Mm-hmm.
but if you come to the end, the non-guarantee 6.7, the account value is 4,600.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is about 3,000, about 2,000 something.
Mm-hmm.
That difference went to charges.
Mm-hmm.
There are three charges that are here. It's index fee. There is there's cost of insurance, and there's also administration fee. On the second year, you've also contributed about 1,500, but your account value is 9. Because we saw one of the agents also, and even a client who saw the statement on the first year. He says that they are taking these charges. He said, no, but my money will finish. Let me stop this policy.
Okay.
So everything is going. So, but now if you go, let's say, at year 15.
Yeah. And
Okay, no, let's go to 20 because we have a number there. Can you go down? On year 20, you've contributed 149.
yeah, exactly.
149, but your value is 213. These charges are still there, but now because the account it's reached maturity and it's making a lot of interest. So after paying the interest, then after paying the fees, you still have interest on top of that. That's why the value is now higher. So it's about between year 10 and year 15, where it equals that the amount that you've contributed is also the value, because the account itself has taken care of the charges.
That's right.
So we need to tell our clients and also to know ourselves on the first and
Yes.
the second year, the
Yeah, that
charges
the
are
cost
there.
of the insurance in the beginning of the years, the earlier years, is always high. And I think that's also even in the material, the course material for the course, that question is there. Chola, if you're there, do you remember this question?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
So it's important to mention it, but yes, the cost of the insurance is always higher in the beginning of the earlier years, and then later it balances off because of the accumulation of the interest that it has earned. It will balance itself up, where it will pay for itself. Yeah.
Yeah. But that will not prevent you from taking a loan because you have money on the surrender cash. So you can still take a loan from your account, but the account itself is taking care of the charges. They are always there. So let people not be scared of the charges. It's not going to finish the money. The money will still grow and will reach to the millions that ED Patricia is showing here. Thank you. That's what I wanted to add.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, that's a great point to mention, because supposing a client asks you, because some clients might not know, this is very foreign to them, but there are some people that will really are very attentive when it comes to these numbers, and they'll ask you that question: why is it that the value is way less than what I've contributed? You have to be able to explain that. So thank you, Dr. Mputu, for that addition there. Anybody else that has a question here? Question? Okay. All right. So, I know we are like 1:17. Do you guys want us to do something different, or maybe stop here next week? We can do what Dr. Putu was saying, the annuity illustration, and maybe do a different design for here instead of starting from the beginning. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you okay with what we have learned here? Have you attained what we have showed you here today, this morning, this afternoon?
It's very informative for me, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to see it a few more times before it,
Of course.
comes together. So
Right.
very, very informative. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks. All right. Anybody who has a question? I think we're gonna maybe
I just have a question quick.
all right.
When is it possible? When is it gonna be possible to like do other training on other company, like maybe Transamerica or other company?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it with management. Dr. Mputu had raised a suggestion to do something a little bit different for next week. So we will discuss and we'll do what we're gonna do next week is gonna be it's gonna be different from what we have been teaching here in the last couple of weeks. So it'll come. Yeah, we'll do different companies. Yeah, the reason why we concentrated much on F&G because that's the main one that we use, and it's important for people to actually understand exactly the illustrations, how to display certain numbers, what to choose and what to go for, and so that they can give the client the best there is, right? So, but we're gonna take care of that. Yeah, because we're dealing with other companies as well, and it's important, especially when it comes to annuities and everything, and also the term, like Dr. Mputu said, I think that is really, really important that we need to tackle that next week coming. Yeah, it's about almost 20 after. I think for today, we're gonna end up here, guys, because we are maintaining an hour. It shouldn't be more than an hour. I know we started a little bit late to give ample time to people to join, and we started maybe 15 after or something like that. So, but it's 1:20. We can just hear anybody maybe wants to say something about the training. How did you find the training? Was it Ochola contributed already? If there's anybody here, that would like to say one or two things, and then maybe we say goodbye.